Well, I killed my target with the first shot there, but hello everybody, and welcome back to Great Northwest Weaponry. This is Thomas, and today we are taking a look at the Kar98az. This is the gun that I most recently acquired from my friends at the Warfront, and it's definitely a rifle that I'm really excited to own. We actually saw this in a video that I did at the Warfront where we took a look at a whole lineup of the Model 1898 designs, starting with the earliest Gewehr 98s and ending with a late war Kar98K. But this one was featured in that video, and it is now officially mine, and I'm very happy about it. This is a 1917 Erfurt, and I want to shoot it some more, so I'm going to set that target back up. The target had simply hopped off of its hook from the hit, so it is back up and hanging. Got one loaded here and 4 more shots, so let's see if we can hit any of these others here. And I knocked down the target again. I'm just gonna take this last shot at the stump. All right, let's go on and head into the gun room now that we've got our proper first 5 rounds through this thing. Talk some Kar98az history. As we had mentioned at the beginning of the video, we have gone over aspects of the history of the Kar98az in the past. I did, however, misremember something as I went back to re-reference that original video. This rifle was not the one seen in that video. We actually used Drew's 1918 Erfurt for that one. This is the 1917 Erfurt, and there is a difference between the two. His has finger grooves, mine does not. And I cannot find a real rhyme or reason why some do and some don't. It seems that it could be a variance by year and manufacturer in tandem, but I have seen, for instance, 1917 Erfurts that have finger grooves and 1917 Erfurts that do not. Same with numerous other manufacturers. Though, interestingly, Erfurt has been the primary manufacturer that I have personally seen for the Kar98az. Now, the history of it, in short, is goes back to the original Kar98, which would be the Kar98A with a capital A. These were manufactured from 1902 to 1905. In 1905, Germany developed the Spitzer cartridge, and it was deemed to be, in that original A variation of the rifle, too much recoil and too much muzzle flash. The original 98A was even shorter than the AZ, and it did not have the stacking rod nor a bayonet lug attachment. And that is actually an interesting thing with the name Kar98az. That is a direct reference to the stacking rod and the bayonet lug. The actual word that AZ represents, or words, is Aufplunz und Zusammensetzverrichtung. I will type that down in the corner here, and I'm not 100% certain on my pronunciation of it. It is a beast of a German word, but it very literally means Kar98 with bayonet attachment and stacking rod. These were produced from 1908 as a reintroduction of an attempt to make a carbine that was workable, as the 98 model. The Gewehr 98 is a ridiculously long rifle, and they wanted something shorter. They were introduced in 1898. I think it was in January of 1898 that they were accepted, and they continued production all the way till the end of World War I. About 1.5 million were produced in that time. In the 1920s, specifically in 1923, if I'm not mistaken, they were redesignated to Kar98A with a lowercase a to distinguish them from the Kar98K and the Kar98B. We went over each of these models in that previous video that I had. Again, I've mentioned it a couple times now, because this is kind of rehashing a lot of the same points, but having it in my own possession and now having realized also that this one isn't in fact the same rifle that was seen in that first video, it just very much felt like we needed to give it a demo on its own, because this rifle will be seen on the channel a lot going forward, and it's again, it's just one that I have really wanted to have in my collection ever since the first time I saw one. I was not initially really aware of, you know, some of the more obscure models of the Model 1898 rifle design. From what I've seen, these were typically issued with a different bayonet variant also than any that I have in my collection. I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head, but it is a bayonet with an iron handle. And I would very much like to get my hands on one of those at some point, and we'll probably talk about that in isolation at that time. You can connect the other models of bayonet to it. I'm actually going to grab my butcher bayonet here to show you this. So you can see this attachment point is very close to the end of the barrel here. When attaching a bayonet to it, the spot that rests against the barrel on the Gewehr 98, the barrel does not reach that. This was fixed with the Kar 98K by them actually moving the bayonet lug back to about here, but again, it looks kind of goofy when you use the full-size bayonet on this model, and there was a different model of bayonet that was often used on these from what I have seen. But as you can see here, in theory, you could use any Gewehr 98 bayonet on the Kar 98az. These rifles would originally be seen mostly in the hands of mountain troops, cavalry, but later kind of immigrated over to being widely used for assault troops. They were liked because of the more compact nature, and once again, in trench assaults in World War I, we've gone over this many times, the rifles of World War I were so long that trench assaults could be a real pain because your rifle would almost act as a flag if you were holding it upright to show your location because they're so long, or if held, you know, sideways, then you're bumping either side of the trench in many cases. Less of a problem with the Kar 98az, hence its popularity in trench raids, especially later on in the war. This one being in 1917, very possibly saw a good amount of service in that role. And the stock is definitely dinged up, and to me, that is just indicative of this thing's use, of which some people want their gun in mint condition. I prefer guns that look like they've, when it comes to these old guns at least, these old World War I and II relics, I like it to look like it has actually been there, and I think that the marks on them tell a story. But anyway, let's go ahead and go to a tabletop view, take a quick look at a couple markings, and then we'll take this back out to the range. Just got a couple of markings that we're going to take a peek at here, and then a quick look at how to extract the bolt. It's all pretty simple and straightforward with the Kar 98az. So your manufacturer is going to be on the top of the receiver. This one is an Erfurt 1917. You should have manufacturer and date. And then on the, rotate it around here, on the left side of the gun, got Kar 98, and then your Imperial German Eagle stamp there. Bolt extraction itself, dead simple, as with all Mauser model rifles. You're just going to open your bolt, pull to the end, and then you got this lever here, pull back on that, and bada boom. You can simply reinsert it. And different years have this ramp either shaved or not, so that the bolt can either slide cleanly in or not. And sometimes people simply shaved those ramps so that that was a possibility to simply close the bolt without it being stuck and having to manipulate it manually with your thumb. We'll be looking at this again when we get out to the range, of course, but 3-position safety, of which actually need to have the bolt cocked to manipulate the safety there. And you can safely drop the firing pin on Mausers with the bolt open, pull the trigger, and then close, and that will drop the firing pin without dry firing the gun. Now, let's go ahead and take this back out to the range and put another 5 through it. Loading this gun is a piece of cake. Just gonna open our bolt here, and then we've got a 5-round stripper clip. Put it in the slot there, and there's a nice cutaway for your thumb here, so you can just push all the way through. Clean and simple. And you can just eject the clip by slamming the bolt home. Got a 3-position safety, so this your first position with the wing facing left is fire. In the middle should be dead trigger, but the bolt can still be manipulated. We're going to go ahead and test and see if that is functional. All good. Now the final position with the wing facing to the right should be dead bolt, dead trigger. All good. Now, put it back on fire, position all the way to the left. And we got 5 shots here again. And we did have some trouble at the beginning of the video with the target coming flying off of its mount. If that happens, I will inform you, and then I will keep shooting. So hopefully it doesn't. I think I might have fixed the problem, but we will see. Always love it when we get to end on a hit, and we did not have the target go flying this time. I simply bent the large railroad spike that it's hanging from into more of an upward angle, and that seems to have remedied the problem. So, anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm going to stop trying to fish this into my shirt there because it just wasn't working out for me. It's been Thomas, Great Northwest Weaponry, and I will see you all next time.